Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see what I have posted?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Give me your thoughts on this monstrosity.
This shit is ridiculous, and it's a
Mm.
diss.
Is it a diss? Is it
It's,
really?
it is. I don't
Oh.
see this as a compliment to black women. Come on, dog. This ain't
Man.
no fucking compliment.
Oh my God, man. Uh, what could be the I don't know the reason someone would put this put this out there, man? What kind of psyop is this, Tony?
It's disrespect.
It's disrespect.
What they're saying is they have a low opinion of niggas. That's all it is.
Uh,
They have a low opinion of niggas, and this is how they see your women.
Wow.
This is how they see your. Except if you white.
Okay.
You see, if you're a white man, this is a joke.
Okay.
If you're a nigga, this is standard operating procedure.
You think black women see this as a diss, or you think this is they see this as an empowerment?
They see it as empowerment, no doubt about it. They're dumb enough to see that as empowerment.
Oh shit, man! I'm like, man,
Because they think that this is a representation of their struggle, and somebody's giving shine to the ordinary black women. No, they're clowning you. They're clowning you.
God damn! I'm like, what the? Know what I thought as soon as I seen it. Know who I thought it was when I seen it?
Who?
I thought it was a statue of Letitia James when I seen it.
that would make sense. That would make sense.
I was just like, well, man, she
because
got pulled.
This is her avatar.
Man,
this is her avatar. That would make sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm like, is that Letitia? Man. And speaking of Letitia, man, I mean, what do you think about that, man? You think that I don't know, man, the evidence is getting out of hand. It's mounting up, man, on this broad, man. Yeah, I know you said that she ain't gonna see no jail time, but I don't know, man. What do you think?
No, she's not gonna go to jail, bro.
Okay.
She's not going to jail.
All right.
She may lose her job.
Okay.
I can see that. See, white collar retribution at certain levels is nuanced because you can always keep them to go after niggas.
Okay.
You understand? So she just ran afoul of Donald Trump. But she'll still serve the scheme and serve the role of being an attack dog against everybody else.
Okay.
See? So she'll no doubt, suffer some legal reprisals, or they're going to do to her like they did to Mosby in Maryland.
Okay.
They convicted her of a crime, but they just put her on house arrest for 5 years. You see, they have all these little mechanisms as compensation prizes for women that once did the bidding of the establishment.
Okay.
You see, so what they do is a slap on the wrist, and they'll give you some type of censure or something like that, because what you did wasn't all bad. And you really didn't rise up against them. You just rose up against somebody that they may or may not like or agree with, So the evidence will mount, and I think she will suffer some degree of censure. She will, ain't no doubt about it. But prison time, nah.
Damn,
it's the Marilyn Mosby thing.
Okay.
She got caught. She got busted doing mortgage fraud. That's how they caught her. And they just gave her 5 years of house arrest with that ankle bracelet on for the next 5 years at home.
Right. But man, I mean, do you think? I mean, how black does your soul have to be? How wicked does it have to be for you to actually come after somebody and try and destroy his life for something that you willingly are doing, behind closed doors, man, and then to actually be like, there, no one is above the law. Man, the hypocrisy and the evil nature of a bitch to do that shit, man. I don't know, man. Like, damn, is this woman? Goddamn, is she real? Is she a demon?
No, she's just an attack dog. That's all.
That dog.
She's an attack dog. She's a pit bull.
Right.
That's what she is. She's a pit bull. So when she says no one is against the law, that's a great tool because they have that to try to keep Trump in check on the other side. All of this is chess, brother, behind the scenes. Because if they can hang this air of criminality over Donald Trump, then it disgraces all of his cabinet. It also prevents J.D. Vance from winning in 2028. You see, all of this is a check mechanism. It's a game. It's fun and games. It's fun and games. It's fun and games. You see, so in some instances, it's a check. Now you know if you come at the king, you can't miss.
Right.
You see, and the problem is they missed as of November 2024.
Right.
They missed. You see, so now you got to deal with the retribution of it. Because here's what I'm saying: if they intended to do anything, her boss would have knocked her off. That's who's protecting her. Her boss would have asked her to step down. Her boss would have asked her to resign. Her boss would have brought these charges against her. Her boss ain't pushing to do shit. They just doing this little PR spin where they sit here and parading her in front of the public on all these charges. But ain't nobody, you don't see nobody locking her up, do you?
No.
Yeah, because she serves a purpose. In the greater scheme of things, she serves a purpose. She know that. That's why she can talk with both her lungs and her whole chest.
Yeah, she talking real bold, man.
Yeah, she can talk slick now. She could be a snapdragon in full roar. Because again, this serves a purpose. All this coming after Donald Trump serves a purpose. It's a way that they have devised to try to keep him in check. You see? Now, she's not going to convict Donald Trump. Nothing's going to happen to him. They just need to keep him in check. So they could try to find a way for J.D. Vance not to win in 2028. Now, if she had she would have to virtually kill a motherfucker.
Okay.
For her to be prosecuted. She would have to literally go out in the street, take a handgun, and blow a nigga's noodles out of his scalp in order for her to be prosecuted. But this is a game, man. This is a game. They're going to keep her in the position she is. They're going to keep her in the spot she's in because they're using her as a lever against Donald Trump. And Donald Trump knows this. That's why he's trying to shit can her. It's war. It's war. It's war. So he doing what he need to do in order to survive, and they doing what they need to do to keep her in check.
You see, they was trying to. You see, they was trying to use the taxpayers' money, man, by delivering that bill, that $10 million.
Yes.
To actually have her be able to dip into that slush fund so that she can defend herself. But the Republicans have blocked it, thank God.
And they should, because that sets a precedent.
Yeah.
You don't get to perform some shit outside the scope of your duties that's illegal, or you're charged with some degree of illegality that exceeds the scope of your duties in office, and then defend yourself with the money from the duties of your office. That shit's crazy.
Man, they be getting away with moida. Big time, man.
They allow that though. That's to be allowed. They allow that. That's allowed on purpose.
God damn, man. Yeah, I need to see somebody, man. I need to see some serious prison time for these criminals, man. These political criminals, man. It's just like no one ever, bites the bullet, man. Shit. And I was hoping with this new, like I said, Trump regime, man, this new Trump cabinet, man, that they would actually really get that ball rolling, man. But I don't know, man. It kind of seems like politics as usual. Well, we'll see.
Brother, it's always going to be politics as usual. You understand? Because politics as usual is profitable for certain people. So you have to ask yourself this: what interest does Letitia James represent? And it's not just the public interest. Don't be so stupid as to believe that she's there to serve simply the public.
Oh
Oh
no, no
no,
doubt.
no.
Mm-mm.
Who are her benefactors? Who are her
George,
supporters?
George Soros. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Next question. You
Uh-huh.
see? So it ain't really her. She is sort of a puppet, and they allow her a degree of latitude. They allow her the degree to do what she does because she serves somebody's interests.
Right. Don't you find it interesting that they seem to be using black women as crash test dummies? You know what I mean? Well, like
No,
the Fannie Willis.
I don't find it natural. It's inevitable because
Right.
that's in every. If you study the philosophy and the psychology of colonialism and of
Okay.
oppression, that's what you do.
Right.
What you do is you destroy in every society, you destroy the backbone of that society and you gain access to the woman. As a matter of fact, that is an indication of your lever of control over that community is due to your ability to have the woman in that community do your will.
Right.
That's how you know you've thoroughly been broken.
Mm.
They take your woman and use her as an instrument of leverage against you.
Mm. And they are doing that too.
This is war.
Yeah, man. They
This is war.
doing that with maximum efficiency, bro.
Exactly. So if you have a situation where you have a community, a marginalized community of working class people, some people are working class, some people, most are working poor, you have a very small group of people that are elite, and those people that are elite tend to side with the dominant society. Who's left? If the men aren't there, the women, as they said in The Godfather, your enemy grows strong on what you leave behind.
Mm.
You left behind the woman. So they use her as a tool. They use her as an instrument of power and of state authority.
Right.
Of course they're going to do that. Of course she's going to have make believe positions in the Democratic Party. Of course they're going to give her sway in the Democratic Party because it's all in the service of your marginalization. They need that permanent underclass. They need that professional managerial class in the black community to keep everything in order.
Mm-mm-mm.
So yeah, they're gonna do this. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that anybody else would be surprised. This is what anybody does in any standard colonized society.
God damn.
So yeah,
man.
they're gonna do it. That's why they'll hire her and put her in corporate America and won't let your black ass by and large be anywhere near any level of power. They'll have one or two niggas up there, but it's always gonna be 10 or 20 black women to one man.
Right.
It's a reason for that.
Okay.
Because they're gonna give her this type of authority. She's used to keep the status quo, to keep everything in check.
Shit, man.
So don't be shocked. I mean,
Shit.
there are Fonnie Willis's and Letitia James in jurisdictions all across the country,
Yeah. Yeah.
from Washington to Maine. All across the country is black women in these positions. They know what they were doing when they did this.
Shoot. You see this big head heifer right here?
Yeah, I see her.
Yeah, you familiar with what's going on with her?
No, what's the latest with her now? I thought she lost the race. What's the deal with this woman now?
Well, you know, she was under scrutiny for taking $2 billion in nonprofit funds that she was supposed to be taking it and using it in a nonprofit way, but no one can find where the money is and what she did with the money. She obviously has not used it for what she's supposed to been using it for in the nonprofit way. So they're trying to figure out where is that money and what has she used it for. Shit, I'm surprised you ain't heard about this one. Shit, yeah, man. They've been getting away with Moida, man, taking all sorts of money, all sorts of handouts, man. Shit, and getting rich off of it.
Brother, this is the number one hustle of black women. You didn't know that? The nonprofit is one of the biggest money-making schemes that black women have. That's why niggas were screaming about wanting Trump to come in, because he would cut out a lot of the access to these nonprofit grants, that this is how they balling.
Right.
This is how a lot of these black women that you see balling independently, it's off of the income that they generate from nonprofit corporations.
Mm.
This is what allows them to have that economic advantage. This is where it comes from.
Right.
Most black women it's two places they're getting their money from. The biggest employer, let's go online, let's go on the record and say it. The biggest employer of black people in general, dog, is the federal government.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, I know that.
The snapdragons at the BMV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The biggest employer of black people is the federal, state, local, and municipal governments. And it's going to be more black women in those places than anything. And nonprofit is just an extension. In many ways, it's just an extension, even though it's a separate nonprofit entity. But it functions off of state, local, and federal government money.
Mm.
That's how these women are balling. That was case in point. There are these snapdragons that's on BET and YouTube. They're called the Ladies of Trucking.
Okay.
And they're on there talking, living this lifestyles of the rich and famous. And I'm not hating, I'm just pointing it out. Lifestyles of the rich and famous and shit, where they got all kind of jewelry and shit. And the woman that's running these trucking companies, she's running these trucking companies off of those federal government contracts. They got 20, 30, and $40 million in federal government contracts. Yeah, they balling out of control. Because that's all a grant is. A grant is in essence a government contract. They're giving this money for you in exchange for you performing some beneficial function that is supposed to enrich or improve the public interest. So I'm not surprised by that.
Okay.
Of course, you know where that money is. They know where that money is. It's in a fucking bank account. That's where it is.
Right.
You want to know where it went? Look at her mortgage. You want to know where it went? Look at her car. That's where it went. They know where that money is, dog. They know exactly what it is. But the problem is this. They can't really get her with nothing. They can say it, but they haven't been able to produce a smoking gun, or else they'd have her in cuffs and she'd be up before the court on fraud charges.
Okay.
They haven't been able to seal the deal and close the gates on her ass. But that money went in her pocket. It could be under another a nonprofit corporation. It could be under a profit corporation. It could be under, look, dog, this is how the scam go. I think I told you about this one time.
Okay.
There was this woman that had this company. And this is also a lot of reasons why they go after DEI. And this is why a lot of niggas don't like DEI. But here's how the scam works. Black women qualify as the proverbial double minority. They're black and they're female.
Yeah.
So as long as they fill out the correct amount of paperwork and submit that paperwork to the proper authorities, they usually get that money. Because all that paperwork is an administrative function. And black women are employed in administrative functions probably more than any woman in the country.
Right.
So they slick when it comes to paperwork. Hell, you know that. Look at all the ratchets that tried to get you to sign on the bottom line for them to get some government benefit.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they have that paperwork. They understand that paperwork game. So all they do is they incorporate themselves. They come up with grants. And there's a lot of black women that make a fat ass mint writing grants and grant proposals.
Okay.
They submit that shit to the federal government, and the government comes back and gives them the money based on their budget. That grant is allocated for a specific amount of time, maybe 4 or 5 years, but it's given to them essentially because they meet that minority standard. And that's what black people have needed in order to be able to compete in industry with white people. So it's not necessarily anything wrong with it, but here's how it works. Here's how the scam works. You have an all-black company, right, that will get a contract from the federal government, or let's say from a nonprofit corporation. they will then turn around and create another for-profit corporation that does business with the profit corporation. Like, let's say the for-profit corporation will lease to the nonprofit corporation equipment and materials.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where do you think the money for those leases is going to come from to pay that for-profit corporation? It's going to come from the grant money that the federal government came or gave to the nonprofit corporation. So what they do is you create a shell company to siphon off the money that you got for the nonprofit grant. So Stacey Abrams will form a nonprofit corporation over here, and then she'll turn around and set up an LLC over here. But she owns both of them.
Okay.
She has a board, but she owns both of them. So this private LLC will turn around and lease equipment, cars, trucks, computers, printers, digital and communication equipment to her nonprofit corporation and build the nonprofit corporation. And then she, as the nonprofit owner or CEO, will turn around and pay her as the managing member or the sole member of the LLC of the company that's leasing her the equipment.
Okay.
See how that works?
Yeah.
So you can actually do that. You can actually do that. And the reason I know this is because white folks have done this to cheat niggas out of affirmative action money. I personally know they've done this for the last 30 years. And so black women are only doing the shit that they've seen white men do. They're following suit with the white men that are doing. And that's why they had moved in on her, because they know if they move in on her ass, she gonna turn around and say, well, what about what Arrow Trucking is doing? What about what Dynamic Storage Company is doing? And see, she can point the blame at other white folks, and they don't want the spot blown up.
Okay.
So they'll let this niggers get away with this niggardry because they can't afford for the cover to be pulled on all the other white folks that are doing this shit and worse. So they will allow her to get away with this because she's only doing what they're doing, and she has intimate knowledge of how they're doing it.
God damn, boy. And my boy Trump, he trying his best to short circuit that shit by attacking, like you said, DEI and U.S. aid and all of these slush funds, man. That
He's trying to reroute the money back to where he thinks it belongs, and that's in the pocket of white men.
Okay.
And he's unabashed about it. He's saying, you out of pocket here. I done gave you thousands of dollars that you squandered in PPP loans.
Man.
You're done now. I let you defraud the government to the tune of $20 billion in PPP loans. You're going too far now.
Okay.
That's it. That's in essence is what he's saying. I gave you niggas PPP loans, and I ain't really coming after you to the degree that I could come after you. For they know that paperwork is fraudulent. They know that they were stealing with them damn PPP loans. That was a gift. That was DJ Trump's gift.
Yeah.
For niggas and to ratchets. They made out like a fat rat with them PPP loans. Sure but did. Now what's happening is she is taking his kindness for granted. Now I done let you slide. You want to ice skate. I gave you a rope and you want to be a fucking cowboy. No. And so that's why they're coming after DEI. And niggas that have never been able to get these contracts, they don't give a fuck about DEI. They've never been able to get these contracts on the level that black women have been able to get them. It's not commensurate. Okay. They've never been able to command this large of a treasury, this large of a flow of taxpayers' money for their businesses to the extent that these black women have. So they don't give a shit about DEI in the first place.
Okay.
There are a few of them that get rich, but again, not to the extent that black women utilize the nonprofit hustle. So they're glad to see this shit go away because it leads to more economic marginalization where they're coming from. The ordinary nigga can't get his hands on money like this. And so what will happen is you will have a bum nigga that will lay up under a woman like this because she know how to find this kind of money from the federal government.
Okay.
You know, she know the hustle. That's why they're letting her get away with it. because they don't want to have to turn the lights on to see all the roaches scattering.
God damn it, man. Shit. Okay. God damn it. Where is this picture I'm looking for? Where is it?